And I was just completely dumbfounded. I remember looking around in disbelief. All the hairs on my body were standing up and I felt like I was buzzing. And I just knew that was... Welcome to season 1 of Beyond the Human. Remember who you are. I'm your host, Hazel Ray, singer-songwriter, experiencer, and messenger for those walking the edge of remembrance just like me. This is not a podcast to convince you of anything. Really, just take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is a transmission, a call to the ones waking up, the ones remembering, the starseeds, the sensitives, the truth seekers, bridging science and spirit. If you're listening to this, you are ready. So let's remember together. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Human. I am Hazel Ray, your host, and today's episode is called The Message in the Static, the TV encounter, which I feel that many people have been waiting to hear about. And to me, even to this day, it still blows my mind that was actually part of my reality. It was one of the experiences that I've had that really did rock me in my reality for a little bit, because the other experience that I had that I shared in earlier episodes about going into the spaceship, I was in a dream, and so potentially, even though, they connected the music at the end of that, in that encounter, and all other weird things that was entailed with that, this one was literally me in my everyday life, not taking any psychedelics, no drugs, nothing. I just breastfed my son, and then this thing happened. So let me tell you the story, and then we can discuss further about what it could mean. If something like this has happened to you, can you please share with me? Because whilst I sit here looking very all good, did you hear my laundry washing machine go off? So professional. Anyway, so it can feel very lonely at times when you have these experiences that feel very left of field, and because I suppose in society we've been deemed to think that we're crazy if these things happen to you. However, I genuinely just don't believe that anymore. And there are other neuroscientists out there studying, and doctors. There was a lady on the Diary of the CEO, I can't think of her name right now, but she just recently came out and explained very much sort of what I'm explaining too. So there's credible people coming out with the same theories and understanding as how I've put it together. So there's many of us trying to piece the puzzle pieces together. So for me, I feel like I had to have these experiences to get my butt into gear to go and explore. So let's talk about it. So this experience happened in 2020. I was breastfeeding my son, sitting on the couch. My husband at the time was down the hallway watching something he was watching. And we had ABC Kids on, which we used to have on for our elder son, who was 2. And when when ABC Kids finished, it would run into a show called Spicks and Specks at about 7 o'clock. And I was sitting there watching this show, as in ABC Kids. And when Spicks and Specks started, the normal sort of show reel started. And then Adam, the host, started speaking. And then he went, like everything he was saying started running backwards. And then the screen collapsed. So when I say collapsed, it went from large to into nothing, which in the old televisions used to turn them off and the screen would collapse. And that's how it would turn off, would resume to like a little point and disappear. So it did that, and then it spun, and then the credits of the show were played upside down, and there was a message coming through, and it was, do your homework, internet, do your homework. And then the screen collapsed again, it spun, and the show sort of picked up from where it left off. And I was just completely dumbfounded. I remember looking around in disbelief. All the hairs on my body were standing up, and I felt like I was buzzing. And I just knew that was, I got buzzed then. That was communication from wherever, whoever, but it meant something. And because I'd had the experience of going to the spaceship already, I was like, okay, I can't actually deny this anymore. Like, I need to investigate it. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but because I'd already felt like I understood now that everything was energy, and that it made sense that that communication could come through the television because it's a frequency, so they only have to interfere with the frequency and communicate that message. Just like we can get messages on our phones, on any technology really. Not only do we get signs in our everyday life, but we're able to receive really strong signs through technology. So I was trusting how I was being guided, and from the guidance I started to understand the cymatics, so understanding the patterns of the geometric patterns that I saw when I was going up onto the spaceship. I was able to look into subtle frequencies which I didn't understand yet, so I ended up looking up Abraham Karim. I think that's his name. He's an Egyptian, and he talks about biogeometry, and he teaches about the subtle geopathic stress of the earth and it's how it affects our bodies, which has really wanted me to go and study from him, because basically, like I explained in the episode before this about the really painful sound from the heater that I could hear at the lady's house that I clean, that is causing geopathic stress on my body. That could be causing damage to cells, DNA, frequency, that could then essentially cause cancer one day. So there is so much importance in that. And I would actually really love to study it and help people balance out their homes so that there isn't this invisible stress on the body that you don't even know is there. Okay, so we're talking about the television and that story, and the fact that I went and started learning about all these different parts of science, but every little piece that I started to learn started to connect up more dots for me and explain more things. So the universe, source, God energy, the pool of frequencies that we're all connected to, communicates through lots of different mechanisms. So for me, a lot of it's been through technology. I remember in about 2017, I decided to start meditating more and look into mediumship, because I'd had these strange signs coming in dreams from my great nana. This is a really interesting story. I had a dream one night. So my nan was alive at the time, and she'd lost this necklace that was really important to both of us, actually. I have it in there because I have it now because she's passed away. But it was a cross, and she'd lost it. And my great nana, her mum, had come to me in a dream, and it's a different one because we know with astral traveling everything feels more real, like it's a more lucid type of dream. And she told me to tell my nan to keep looking for it because she will find it, and that it's in her house. And I was able to hug my granddaddy. I could smell her. It was a very real dream. And then the next morning I rang my nan and I said, Nan, granddaddy came to me last night and she told me that it's in your house and that you need to keep looking. A day later, my nan rings me and she said that she opened up the cupboard where her mugs are, where she makes cups of tea, which she makes every day, and it fell out onto the floor. How her necklace cross got into her like mug cupboard, which is up here, is beyond my brain. But so that's what I sort of mean, that there's these communications, whether it's through dreams, whether it's through technology, etc. They come through. That's right. Let me come back to where I was going. So at that time, I thought that maybe I was to start discerning the symbols and signs, but there was this inherent fear within me still. I hadn't gone through my proper awakening and faced all these demons, for lack of a better word. And I was lying in bed one night and I woke up and I couldn't sleep. And I remember saying to myself, like, why is this happening to me? And I looked at my phone to go to the toilet to see what time it was. And this grey box popped up on my phone. just a random grey square, and it said, keep asking and we will show you. And I freaked, and I was like, no more, shutting it all down. I'm not meditating anymore. I'm not doing any of it. I just kept getting too scared. But again, then I started searching up on Google, grey random boxes that pop up on your phone. It wasn't a text box. It was so strange. Other times are like songs playing at random times. I remember just before my awakening, I was lying next to my 2-year-old son, and I was sitting in fear, and my phone in the middle of the floor starts playing The One by Justin Bieber. And when I go onto my phone, I didn't have Spotify at the time, and my iTunes wasn't downloaded, but that song was in my iTunes list. But when you looked at them, they were all dull because they weren't downloaded yet. It was playing an undownloaded song, and I couldn't turn it off. I had to turn my phone off to get it to stop playing. Another time, which I actually want to, when I can, I'll film it on my phone because it won't let me go onto Instagram on the other phone that I'm not filming on. But I want to actually show you this one message, because I had this kind of really, I would call it a training dream, where some dark energy came to me in a dream, but I felt like when I woke up it buzzed through me. So it came from the realm that I was in, and I felt like I brought it into here with me. And I was speaking about it, and my Hey Google was in earshot. And I was telling my friend about this dream that I had, and then it said something like, you are not dreaming, I am very real. And I'm like, oh dear. But I was able to, there's more to that story too, of some things that happened energetically. My bank accounts went to zero and all sorts of things. But I want to tell you these things because I'm not crazy. These things I can prove, especially the one with the Hey Google. And I can't deny that that's how it happens. That your technology is able to receive information. And you know it is, because you only have to talk about cheeseburgers, and I'll pick up my phone later and it'll pop up a bunch of things about cheeseburgers on Facebook or whatever, because it's listening. And so when even if I just say that, then it's possible that it's receiving information from subtle frequencies that it can detect to then communicate information to you. Trust the information that you receive, whether it's 1111, 111, 222, 333. I speak about that on 2 episodes earlier. I debunk 369, how that exists in the reality outside of us, and that we're receiving messages. We are being communicated with. It is time to listen, fine-tune the tool. When someone is blind, their senses, their other senses actually become more heightened. It is proven that blind people start to use echolocation. You only have to close your eyes and walk around, and if you are in a room with not much furniture, it starts to echo. You've got space. It's all of that. Our senses can be fine-tuned. Meditation is the most spoken about tool for fine-tuning, being able to access information from the subtle energies around you that are trying to communicate. The last thing that I'll talk about, this is quite a short episode, but I wanted to talk about how that was able to happen to me then, and it hasn't necessarily happened like that again. I spoke about this in the last episode, and I'll speak about it again. To receive a radio station, it has to match the frequency. If I explain it with the TV rabbit ears again, when we had the old televisions, we had these rabbit ears on the top of the television, and we would depending on the channel we want, we'd have to fine tune the length of the metal rod, and that would be fine tuning to receive that one wavelength. So you have to be able to match the frequency to receive the information. I believe that I just happened to, in that moment, because I had already gone through my awakening, I knew I was vibing very high. I was quite ungrounded at the time, that information was able to come through and I was able to receive it. And I kind of feel now when I am able to receive messages, it's usually if I'm in deep meditation too and I come out and I'm still feeling quite spacey, it'll be that time that I'm going to either see something, hear something, feel something, notice something that is out of the ordinary, because I'm open to receiving. And I have a lot of people in the UAP, UFO community that keep saying things like, they want to communicate more or whatever. We are not in an environment that is sort of forthcoming in helping us hold higher frequencies. If you're someone that watches the news, probably if you're watching my YouTube, my podcast, then you probably don't watch the news, because you understand now that it's just very much a fear perpetuation to keep you in fear. What if that happens to me? Am I going to get burgled? Am I going to die? Fear is a low vibration. You're not going to be able to receive much from the information around you. Guilt and shame. So jealousy, guilt, shame, those vibrations that you hold also keep you in low vibration. Social media can target that in the comparison game. And the guilt and shame comes from the societal norms of, instilling how we should live, how much money we should have, what success is, what failure is. So again, detaching from those old beliefs, because the root of all suffering doesn't come from not having those things. It comes from the attachment that you have to those things, that when you don't have them, it causes the suffering. So you need to dive deep into when you are suffering and when you're holding pain from something that you don't have or that is not in your life, that if you can release that, name it, find it, then you're not suffering anymore. Alcohol, drugs, those things that cause an addiction, habitual cycle. Alcohol in itself will lower your frequency. And again, we've been sold the story of partying and how much fun it can be, and it will keep your vibration low. Those addictions that we have, that society has sort of brought about, the dopamine addictions to phone, social media, etc., it's all causing us to stay stuck and not allow us to fine-tune our senses. So if you're serious about contact, communication, whether it be with aliens and I laugh like that because I know many of you probably are still not over the line with that, which is totally fine, but with spirit, potentially, then you need to take care of your body, because it's the receiver, and start there. Anyway, I hope that you have got something out of today. That's all I've really got on the TV encounter. Again, share with me if you've had something similar happen. I'm really open to hearing about it. And yeah, until next time, wherever you are in the world, good morning, good evening, good night. And remember, my mantra is the world doesn't need saving, people do. And if we give the people the tools to save themselves, we save the world.
I feel your soul. It's as deep as mine. You have an aura, it's all around. You have a voice, but it's yet to make a sound. I want you to know that what you're searching for is inside. I see you. Whatever you've been through, no matter how shameful, I'll be laughter, I've seen your pain, I've felt your guilt, I know your shame. I know one day your soul will help you find your way, 'cause the world must hear what you have to say. See